Take it away, Mr. Omashar.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Catamas. We've got an amazing show. We're going to see guests like JJ and Desiree Hurtak and other members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. I'm coming to you live from Santa Barbara, and I'm going to turn it right over to our beloved house musical artist, Mr. Omashar, to get us rocking and rolling.
You're always divinely connected, spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. What is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. 1,000 sunny days describes the joy I feel. I'll walk 1,000,000 miles just to know we'll see the truth revealed. Remember, you're always divinely connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your
Let's all give a big twinkle to Omashar for getting us off to a beautiful, beautiful start. Thank you, brother Omashar.
My pleasure, and how wonderful to see your guests right here, right now, Desiree and JJ. Blessings.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we've had a great time with Scott this weekend or this past few days, connected with the Evolutionary Leaders Gathering. We've done a lot of, we'll say deeper searching, affirmations of helping the planet, because the planet right now, everyone's feeling is going through these kind of twists and turns. And we're all saying it's really just a way to move forward, that we see what needs to be done, and then hopefully it's going to energize all of us to be more positive and more transparent.
Now, you've been part of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle for a long time. I'm kind of new. I've been here for 3 years. Omashar is brand new. How have things evolved? How has this organization evolved over the years?
Well, yeah, you can go way back to Deepak Chopra, Barbara Marx Hubbard, and there were some great things before. There's a before COVID and an after COVID. But right now, I think it's really exciting that we are getting together, sharing together, and really understanding why we're here on this planet. You say that all the time. It's so important to be here now. We listened to Ram Dass's last words practically. That was so touching.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that was really amazing, because he was saying how being here now, don't worry about the past, let the past behind, and don't even be super concerned about the future, but really just be here now. And I think that we're here now for this really important time. We also feel it's going to be extraterrestrials contact. It's first contact, even though many people have already had the first contact. But there's a lot of that that's going on. And we're also here to talk maybe a little bit about Egypt, because people were wondering about, that whole thing in Egypt. Did you do a story on that?
No. We did, when Deborah Juicy went to Egypt, we did a whole show with her and the Stargate people, kind of about their trip.
We were right before that with Alan Steinfeld, one of your ongoing guests as well. No, but just recently, these two researchers, one's from the University of Pisa, his name is Corrado Malanga, and another person from Glasgow, connected with Glasgow area of the university called University of Strathclyde. His name is Biondi. They claimed that they took SAR, which is synthetic aperture radar satellite data, and that they were able to see through the middle pyramid, which is the Khafre pyramid, all the way down. Now, we were actually the founders with the shore expedition of the Tomb of Osiris, which is 100 feet down on the Giza Plateau, but they're claiming a lot more. So
2,000 feet plus.
Yeah, we all feel, and they agree, and that's why they even came out with this, that we all feel that there's more underneath the sands of Egypt. And
Well, first of all, let's redefine who we are. We are remote sensing specialists, archaeologists, linguists, musicologists, cosmologists. We have been associated with some of the top researchers using what is called radar, synthetic aperture radar, and ground penetrating radar to look at archaeological sites for more than 50 years. We published with Robert Schock from Boston University regarding the evidences off of southern Japan called the Yonaguni Ryukus landforms. We've had the opportunity to work with John Ford from Jet Propulsion Lab and publishing on the Amazon basin. And we've worked with Walter C. Brown, who is really one of the fathers of synthetic aperture radar. And so there are paper which that came out
Well, that came out in 2 years ago regarding the Great Pyramids.
entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Uncovered High Resolution Internal Structure of a Great Pyramid of Giza, i.e., what the recent claims are of city-like structure, really is off the map for those of us who've been living underneath Egypt 100 to 150 feet down.
Yeah. Well, you were showing the picture that they claim that there's 8 kind of like tubular structures underneath there. And you know what? I do believe that we've been talking, in fact, one of the guys that just talked here at the Evolutionary Leaders Conference is Ronaldo. I don't have his last name, but
Ronaldo Prutico.
okay, and he's really famous for hydrogen. He's been doing work, he's been working with getting hydrogen, his car is hydrogen. In fact, another person who's an evolutionary leader who was here, Peter, his car is all pure hydrogen. And we really like hydrogen as a fuel. I mean, it's a fabulous thing. That's what we've been involved in. And our book, Giza's Industrial Complex, which we co-wrote with James Brown, who's actually a contractor, and he's been building structures all his life, says that we believe they took the water from the Nile and some of the other lakes, like Lake Morris, which is a saltwater lake, they used sun and they used hydrogen energy. And even the Great Pyramid was a factory for certain types of hydrogen energy. Now, what does that do for the initiation? It can be a dual use purpose. You can also be initiated by this energy that they're producing.
So the Egyptians had a very elaborate underground hydraulic water system, which allowed them to build the pyramids in stages in perfect relationships over massive areas of acreage. Remember, in Giza, Egypt is some 17 kilometers square. At the same time, they were able to use what I call ground batteries. They were using small chambers for energy conversion processes. And seen from the standpoint of ground penetrating radar, yes, there were these small conic sections or cylinder smokestack-like structures coming in, where our energy was stored and shared in parallel phase units. So on a small scale, you could see what appears to be large scale if you scale up, as the young remote sensing specialists claim to have done, structures that are massive. But again, this is way out of proportion to our work with ground penetrating radar.
Right, so just to recap that, we do believe there's more under the ground of Egypt. We do believe most of the pyramids have something subterranean. The Great Pyramid, that subterranean chamber is area. But to say something's to the system called synthetic aperture radar, even though you can extrapolate the pixels, that's a little bit far out.
Well, you're below the waterline.
Yeah.
Now, let us say this to those of you who do not know our work, and I don't have the book that we published a few years back called Giza's Industrial Complex. We were the ones who in 1997 were able to use ground penetrating radar as well as sound acoustical sound probes to find the tomb of Osiris. Here I am standing, there you go, and my finger, my hat is pointing to the lid of the Osiris tomb down approximately 115 feet below ground.
And this was 30 years ago, in 1996.
97, actually.
Yeah, the expedition began in 96. We found this in February 97. We had permission to bring cameras underground, which we did. This is all on movie camera. We had permission to bring high technology, which we did. We did not have permission to excavate. And so when we went to Egyptian authority requesting, after we found the lid, the Egyptians took it upon themselves really to do due diligence and take the whole, I should say, prospectus of our expedition under their auspices. And of course, we were marginalized, and they were the ones who claimed 2 years later that they had found under Zaihawas the whole structure, which was not correct. Nonetheless, Zaihawas said on Fox television, was a worldwide special with Maury Povich. Oh, incidentally, there was a group 2 years before was at this site, which was, of course, our group. So we have photos before the actual tomb was excavated to show we were there with all the ground testing. And I think this brings into play another aspect of what we were using at the time, which was what is called remote viewing, the ability of the mind to mental sensitives to see objects at a distance without having to do physical excavation.
But once we did that, we realized that this was the one place to go down to, and it was dry at the time. Normally it has water in it, at least a foot of water. So 100 feet down under the plateau. So we all agree with what almost every archaeologist understands. There's more underneath the ground of Egypt, but where it is, how it is, that we don't think the evidence is there yet.
And what the recent paper claims about exotic rooms in the Great Pyramid, when we saw this, it's actually illustrated in a book by a colleague of ours called Rico Paganini entitled Giza's Legacy. It's a book in English and German, European publisher, showing, my other hand holds up a page of chambers, chambers, as you can clearly see, that are hypothetically positioned according to what we will call remote viewing technology, which was under control by the intelligence community until 1996, when our colleague Russell Tarr got it released publicly. So it is now recognized as a genuine process used by the military to see underground caves, tunnel systems, and even underground sanctuaries of massive proportion, albeit you have to have scientific training and system of measurement. And obviously you have to have clear-headed sensitives to see this.
But going back to our book, Giza's Industrial Complex, I mean, we clearly say if they produce the gases, that they could use that for light energy, they can use it for agriculture, and actually they're finding out like HHO, which oxyhydrogen gas, is good for your health. I mean, we're not recommending, we're not healers or anything like that, but people are experimenting with this. So they could have been used for many, many things. And Eric von Däniken created a Dendera light bulb. Some of you are familiar with the way it's shaped, and he put gas through it and it functioned, it worked, is exactly his words when he put the gas through. So, you know, we do believe, of course, that the Egyptians had a lot better technology than we you know,
in fact, in our book, Giza's Industrial Complex, I show pictures of crystal chips that were magnified and shared at Jet Propulsion Lab back in the 1990s regarding the so-called special radiation properties. Gamma ray radiation elevation levels were 3 times higher than they would normally do under situations. But imagine the Egyptians had basically an underground school system. They were working with solar energy through simplified solar batteries, hydraulic energy in terms of using water that was recycled continually underground, the whole Giza complex. They were using some form of electrostatic energy in terms of separation.
Well, we know they have
water and
metals.
hydrogen.
Yeah, we know they have metals, so they could have made these anodes and cathodes as we call
And then
them today.
unknown energies, we would call them, that would be responsible for the gamma ray radiation levels, which the Japanese and others recently detected through the SCAN project that's been running for something like 12 years.
And although we don't claim in our book, Giza's Industrial Complex, how they built the pyramids, the more you look at the modern understanding, even from scientists, they all say they must have used water as like creating causeways to move these huge blocks.
What about sound?
Well,
because you two are really tuned in. So
right.
I've often heard that they learned how to use sound.
Well, there's a video that Charlton Heston was the narrator for called The Mystery of the Sphinx. And it had Robert Schoch and John Anthony West, and it had Dr. Hurtak in there as well. And one of the things that they talked about was how you can move little stones. They didn't see how you could do big ones, but little stones by sound vibrations. So you can literally raise these stones. And theoretically, what they were indicating is that they had significant amount of sound frequencies and hit the right vibration. You could even move these blocks. So that's what Mystery of the Sphinx, it's available for free on YouTube because it's such an older film at this point, but it's really exciting.
I'd like to show you a prize photograph.
But we have many other people coming in, so we're not going to stay too much
Well,
longer.
I have a big question for each of you, but I do want to bring in our
This
friends.
is the jackpot. In 1993, again in 97, we conducted musical tests inside the Great Pyramid. This is what happened in 93. The whole interior of the Grand Gallery lit up in golden light. A standing columnar wave of energy was activated by my voice. I was a very good singer in my youth. And using ancient Egyptian Hebrew mantras in combination, I hit a high level and a vibratory augmentation took place where the whole chamber began to radiate, and suddenly light rushed up and down the chamber. We took this picture. This is the real situation. It's so amazing. The test that we did at a different time caused the Egyptian architects and the guides to dance on top of the pyramid.
I love that.
This is a very unusual pyramid. They felt, and the grabbers come up where they feel their feet were, so we say energized enough, they felt no need to walk but to dance. So to bring all this together, we are at an exciting time. Hopefully this paper, although we disagree with its conclusions like Dr. Schock, we believe it might open the door to investment in high technology to look for other possible connections, not only of the Great Pyramid and the Khafre Pyramid, which is the major pyramid of interest, but all throughout the Giza Plateau. We feel that indeed Giza itself, according to ancient Coptic documents, was the schoolhouse of the gods, quote unquote, for other cosmic forces of intelligence. I believe that in some unique way, we'll recognize amongst the extraterrestrial cosmic cultures, there was one that fathered what we call the Egyptian civilization, and that culture is at our doorstep.
JJ, I'm gonna have a question for each of you, and then we'll bring in our next guests.
Lots of people waiting at the door.
But JJ, your experience that you had, you described it again during the retreat, and I would love for you to share that with our audience about when you left your body and your body left your body.
It was basically due to students of mine who they were interested in Eastern Oriental philosophy, and they wanted to, well, you speak of avatars, the texts speak about higher beings of light. I mean, is there some reality to this? And I said, quite frankly, as a young professor, no, I would have to do further investigation. I had trained in different philosophical traditions. And so I began as a young musicologist to put together the Sanskrit and the Hebrew Aramaic languages. And in deep meditation and vocalization, I was able to create a powerful morphogenic field that suddenly manifested in that morphogenic field, and my physical body was absorbed, was bilocated into another energy dimension, of which I thought was just a few minutes. It actually turned out to be more than 2 days. I came back with residual light around my body. Pictures were taken.
But you were taken to different levels.
I was taken to different levels. I was shown that the Great Pyramid is a chronomonitor, time measuring device that had scientific implications for other pyramidal cultures throughout the world. And visiting one in Mexico, in Tulum, some 27 years later, I had the experience of, again, using Egyptian, Hebrew, Aramaic. And all of a sudden, as you can see, her lights around my body. And it was just overwhelming. A gentleman taking a picture of his wife, you can see in the lower corner where I'm pointing with my finger, was able to capture in a few seconds the superluminal light that came down. So the pyramids historically are defined as places where fire in the middle, light in the middle takes place. Sounds, sacred sounds have that ability. I had the opportunity to record this, to put a benchmark down for the finding of the tomb of Osiris. Osiris was the Egyptian god or master teacher who brought music to the planet. I believe there's an acoustical, physical, harmonic that will help us open the door to the past as well as to the future.
And just to say a little bit more about his experience, basically, so he was encountered Enoch, the seventh from Adam, who took him to a certain reality. And then from there, he went into even higher realities. So he saw, we'll say, different cosmic dimensions and
More than that,
levels of intelligence.
more than that, I was shown that there were pyramids on Mars. And that's the other side of one of my publications, The Face on Mars, Evidence of Lost Martian Civilization. This book, which was published in the 1980s, details work studied primarily with my colleagues at Stanford Research Institute, showing not only pyramids, but landforms that match those in Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. The question is, why does Cairo, Egypt, have an Arabic name called Al-Kahira, which means the spacious one on Mars? The real connection is not so much with pre-dynastic Egypt, but the pyramids on Mars. That's the real astrophysical question, that there was a parallel civilization that we were linked with through these great monoliths in Egypt. And I believe that this is going to be the great, shall we say, breakthrough will change all science in the coming year in 2026.
It shows we're cosmic beings. But Scott, you have a lot of people waiting for you. We're going to come back on your show at future time.
Keep the faith. Keep the faith. Look openly to the stars. Be thankful we have a sister planet called Mars. Know the legends on Mars have inspired all of the major cultures but also Mars is a stepping stone to go beyond the theme of war into cooperation. So let us keep our eyes, our hearts, our new scientific methodologies aware that Egypt is the prize of all countries.
And you can find all things Hurtak at keysofenoch.com.
.org.
.org. Keys of Enoch, ENOCH.org. And it's extraordinary what they have there. So many videos, music, literature. So definitely go there. Normally I would show it, but I'm not going to be able to do that today.
Yeah, we're on the phone.
Love you guys.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you so much. I love you so much. Thank
Okay.
you.
Scott,
Take care. Thanks.
JJ, thank you so much. What an amazing. I mean, this is extraordinary what we get to listen to. And yeah, Desiree, just send in a couple of people, ideally. So there are about 35 of us that have been attending the Evolutionary Leaders Retreat, and they all know I'm doing the Awakening World tonight. And about half of them have been on the show already at different times over the years, but I've invited them all to come in. But I want to introduce to you now.
You want me to sit down?
Yeah, this is Charles Vogl, and Charles this is his first time on Awakening World. He's also been my roommate. We've been sharing a yurt together. He has bonded quite well with Jasmine Bear. She gets very excited when she sees him. And Charles, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Oh, golly. Well, I'm best known for writing a few books, all of them about leadership development and helping people who are in leadership roles connect people important to them around shared values and purpose as opposed to transactional relationships. We call that community. And I have a world, and so my work is largely by understanding ancient traditions that have brought people together in powerful ways through even existentially threatening times, as opposed to basing my work on the latest fad of psychological research.
What we're going through today.
Yeah, the second edition of my first book came out recently, and I learned as I was touring the world talking about the subject that we live in a culture that we know is recent research that certain general references says that half Americans do not have boyfriends. And
catch that. Half of Americans do not have 4 friends.
According to research, obviously there are many research projects and you can always pick and choose, but research that has enough credibility that Surgeon General, cited it, Vivek Murthy, it shows that that's the case. And in fact, the research also shows that 1 in 6 American men report they have no close friends.
1 in 6 American men report they do not have a single close friend.
So obviously we could talk about other ways that we're separated, but that gives you a sense of the scale that's going on. And I've noticed that we live in a culture that has forgotten that the venue where we make the friendships that are important to us. As I say, all the people you would call, Scott, if you got a bad diagnosis in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
You form those friendships in small, intimate experiences.
Mhm.
And for the purposes of teaching leadership, I call those campfire experiences.
Yeah.
And I call that because you and I don't know how many generations of our families have been sitting around campfires and creating the kind of friendships that got us through natural disasters, political conflict, war.
You and I sat around a campfire last night with all the rest of our friends. Yeah.
Right. And I've noticed that we live in a culture that when someone says, well, we need to get people together, we need to build a community, they're often thinking about giant events
Mhm.
with usually something distracting because they're afraid that if we gather,
Mm.
we won't be entertained enough. And so they get us in a big room with lots of people, often with loud music and maybe even a screen somewhere to entertain us. And they think, well, good, I'm bringing people together. They're going to create friendships and we're all lonely. And they have totally forgotten what our ancestors have known for untold millennia. That's not where the friendships that matter happen.
That's a very good point.
So as someone who literally flies around talking about this, I often feel silly getting up on a stage and saying, hey, we need to remember that we need to create campfire experiences to knit together the people we care about, be that in a critically important team, be that people in our family, be that people in our own neighborhood who want to support each other. We need to create small, intimate experiences instead of these distracting monstrosities. And unfortunately, we live in a time where that's a relevant conversation to have. So there's an example where I'm just restating what our generations have known.
Mm. Do you bring that to the corporate world, helping corporations to create greater intimacy as well?
Yes, there are a number of fields that have really grabbed my work. Specifically, I'm thinking of education because educators are literally in the front line of the crisis of our era, where young people are so disconnected, are more generationally isolated from other generations than, my understanding, literally any people in the history of people. And that's because we've created technology where that's entirely
Right,
possible.
where they're on devices. I was I went to see the Styx concert on Friday night, and the person sitting next to me happened to be someone who worked in the arena where it was taking place. And in between shows, there was another band. In between bands, he and I were chatting. And he said that it's really interesting when an older audience that's attracted to Styx, and there was a lot of people, 50s, 60s, and 70s, age-wise, he said they're all chatting with each other like we're chatting right
Mhm.
now. He said when it's a younger group,
Yeah.
they're all on their phone.
Yep.
They're all on their devices. Nobody's talking to anybody else. They're all on their phones.
I wish I was surprised.
Yeah.
So there's one field. Another field is healthcare, because people in healthcare need to coordinate. They're highly skilled, and then of course military, both veteran services and then active duty, and then a certain numbers of global tech firms. And the through line that I've discovered over the years, why those industries reach out to me, is those are all industries that when they get their mission wrong, people die. So it's really critical for them to understand, well, how do we knit people together in ways that go beyond transaction
Mhm.
so that high stakes things can get done?
Wow. And any tips you can pass on to our audience for how they can create more intimate friendships, more connection?
Yeah, well, we'll continue on that idea that I just call the campfire experience, just to make it easy. And then as we can recognize the campfire experience, because it has 3 criteria. The first one is people are physically close enough to have a possibly intimate conversation. And for the purposes of planning a strangers meeting or neighbors who don't know another well, 5 is maximum number. And you can test me on that.
Okay.
Have you, in the last 10 years, been at a wedding table with 10 people on it and sat there for well more than an hour?
Probably just about an hour.
Okay, but a catering table of 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you been to an event, be it a conference or wedding, sat at a table of 10, stood up and thought, man, what wonderful, deep conversations. I just feel so close to these people, can't wait to talk to them again.
That's true. It's
I already know the answer.
It's superficial.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have social skills and you're an adult and
Yeah.
you have no memories. Numbers matter.
Mm.
I won't go into the details about that, but we can just notice 5 or smaller is typically the most we can manage to create the kind of
Deep
conversations
intimacy.
that. The second criteria is we physically need time to have the conversation we want to have. If someone says, "Oh, gee, I want you to come to this event and meet people," and then you've got people talking in front of the room, or you've got an agenda for us to accomplish and vote on, or you've got me watching a movie, I just don't have the time to have that conversation. And the last thing that we look for to meet the criteria is all of the distractions that would pull me away from that intimate conversation have been handled by the host. So if there's loud music, someone turned it off. If there's someone upselling raffle tickets every 15 minutes, someone cut that stuff off. If you've invited me to a bar and there's literally 12 screens, on each one of them, people behind those screens have been paid, I'm not making this up, millions of dollars to grab my attention. Well, then that's a terrible place to build that. So places we can have campfire experiences. In the car on the way to a concert,
Mm.
in a canoe, walking around a lake,
Mm-hmm.
walking a dog.
Oh, yeah.
So campfire experiences doesn't mean, oh, we literally sit around a table and now we make great campfire experiences. No, go walk a dog. All 3 criteria are met. And so we can look through our lives. Well, if I want to know my neighbors, if I want to know my colleagues, I want to know other authors, I can just look at my calendar. Am I scheduling that 12 times a year? Because if I do, I'll get results. But it's going to be different than if I schedule that 24 times a year,
Right.
which will be different if I schedule 52 times a year. And in my calendar, on Friday evenings and Sunday evenings, I don't know what I'm going to be doing October of 26. I don't know. Here's what I do know. I've already scheduled time from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Friday and from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock on Sunday to sit down with friends. Maybe friends I have because I need campfire experiences, or friends I want to have because I'm meeting people and they're interesting to me. But here's what I know. I've already scheduled 100 times in 2026 to make sure I've got a campfire experience. And by the way, walking a dog in a park totally counts.
That's beautiful. You know, it's funny. I met about 10 years ago, I met my friend Jonathan Robinson, and he started as a client, but I realized I wanted to be friends with him. And Jonathan was fascinating. He had a pre-printed form he had made out that he sent to me. He said, if we want to develop a friendship, these are areas of interest.
Okay.
Movies that I like, books that I like, television shows that I like. Let me know which of these you relate to. And it was really, it was brilliant because it right off the bat, I could go through, oh, one of his favorite books is one of my favorite books. Oh, wow, I love that band too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I also am a Warriors fan.
Mhm.
And it was a really smart way to start. And he actually is now one of my 2 best friends.
So let me speak to that. So that worked, and there's a reason it worked, but I think it's helpful to anyone who's trying to think, well, how can I up my game? How can I know my neighbors better? It's not important that we share enthusiasms for the same books or vacation sites or films. What we're looking for is shared values. And you may be really into gangster rap, and I might be really into Baroque music, and I don't ever want to go to a concert with you. Fair enough. If we both care that all the kids in our neighborhood are safe, fair enough. If we both love finding young artists expressing themselves and finding their way on the scales, maybe that's enough.
Yeah.
And so I don't want us to get distracted with, well, where are the people that like the things that I like? My wife is a salsa dance enthusiast. I can barely count a beat, right? I'm a snow sport enthusiast. My wife literally doesn't want to sit in the car through the snow to go enjoy the snow sport. Here's what we both care about: being healthy, connecting with other people in recreation, and creating friends that enrich our lives as we grow old. I don't go salsa dancing with her. She doesn't want to get in the car to go to the mountain with me. But we have values there that we can respect what we're investing in, and that's enough.
I can see a little bit of an edge about the not even getting in the car.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
The irony of my wife is she will go to the mountain with me, my son, but she doesn't want to do it if the weather is bad. Bad meaning bad for driving. And of course, the best time to find fresh snow is when there's bad driving on the road.
Of course. Charles, how do people find your books?
My name is Charles Vogl, Vogl. If you just look me up on the internet, you'll find stuff about me. I do have a website, and even if the books art of interest. There are free downloads there. In fact, my team and I drafted several events guidelines for educators, for people working with military families, and for people working with nonprofit, so that if you're creating events to bring your neighborhood together or bring people in your school together, and you just want to make them less lousy, you can download a free guideline on my website. It's based on the work that's in the books, and just start a conversation with your planners to make your events not so boring.
And is it charlesvogl.com?
Yes, charlesvogl.com. It comes up though if you look for me.
Okay.
Easy enough.
Thank you so much,
I'm glad we
Charles.
got to spend this time.
Do me a favor, would you just
Yeah. Shout
Whoever-
wildly in the
let
hallway.
whoever might be there know that there is space in the room. Omashar and Diara, I'm gonna need you to let me know what's going on in the chat box, because of the way I'm set up here, I can't check out or do websites. So if you could put websites up for people, when like we have a Charles Vogl, Vogl, that'd be great. And I'm really excited because in person, you're about to see one of our all-time absolute favorite luminaries. And I'm going to see her for the first time in a while. It's Piper Dellums live in the portion. Hello, beautiful.
Hello. Hi, my love.
Oh my gosh,
Hi,
even
hi.
Jasmine Bear has
Hi,
to say, oh
Jasmine
my
Bear.
gosh.
Oh, you remember me.
Of
How
course
are you? I
do.
was missing you out there.
Oh.
How's our Awakening World family?
Well, they're probably very excited that you're here.
Hi.
And she just arrived. Come join.
Actually, I was out there dancing for about a half an hour.
Oh, you were?
I was.
Did you get to Corn
See,
Brothers?
all of it.
Brothers Corn?
I
Okay,
did. They
amazing.
are
Good part
amazing.
for-
Hello, my love. Okay, let's just do it.
You guys, this is kind of the way.
Oh, sorry.
This is one of my oldest friends, Vinit Allen. Now, of course, you saw Vinit on the Awakening World a few weeks ago for your Into Being Festival.
Recently.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to start
It
with
worked.
Vinit. Well, tell the audience how that went.
It was like spending a day in heaven
Mm.
where everybody has a big open heart and a big yes, and every session to choose from is deepening and livening. It's where I would like to live.
How about this week? Would you like to live where we've been this week?
Yes, please, forever.
And Piper just arrived. She's here for the Illuminate Film Festival. Her
Yes.
film is gonna win. Keep voting. Remember to keep voting.
Keep
And
voting.
which one made the finals?
Which one made Love is the Universe made the final.
Love is the
Whoa.
Universe.
Love is the Universe.
So remember to go to the Micro Short Film Festival. Just go to YouTube.
I think it's too late to vote.
Is it too late?
At this point, just love all of us
Okay.
and bring in the consciousness, because I think the voting is over.
I'm gonna be there on Sunday night for
Are
the,
you?
yeah, for the final.
Oh, that's
Me
awesome.
too, yeah.
I feel like we all won.
Yeah.
Everyone won. We really needed a moment of spilling seed, of artistry, of truth. We needed to find our way. There was so much shadow. There was so much fear. There was so much chaos. And for there to be a forum that says, come through in 90 seconds, speak about our harmony, our joy, and our beauty. And I was losing my way even this was my medicine, and I still needed to find my way through. You know, this has been a tough journey, but stepping into you have no idea what I stepped into down there. What they have created with this ELA retreat. I mean, the evolutionary leaders, I walked into something that was ascended. I walked into the singers, and they brought down heaven. And I walked into, wasn't it, to the breath of life, and a dance, and Ubuntu, and family, and celebration.
Pato and Antoinette are here, along with the brothers Corin.
And I held Kristen. We held each other for a good 20
Oh,
minutes.
good.
Oh.
And that's your first time meeting her.
Oh
in
my
person.
God. Yeah. I actually didn't want to let her go. I kind of
Yeah.
wanted to like
She's-
take
she's
her with
pretty
me for the
huggable.
rest of my life.
She's pretty
She's
huggable.
just the most beautiful soul and spirit. It was amazing.
Right up there with you.
Right up there with
And
you.
Vinit.
I forgot you had the show. So I'm racing around, kissing everybody. I'm like, where's Scott? Where's our Scott? And they said he's doing a show. So he loves you all so much out there.
That's true. I
That
gave
he-
up a pretty cool
Well,
concert going on out there.
And gave up
with you.
300 minutes of kisses from all of us.
Oh.
So you have a film too in Illuminate?
We will have a film because Kit and Tayana are working on it with them, but it's
Beautiful.
we're a ways from production. Pachamama, it's called.
Wow, I wrote a song
A
called
big film,
Pachamama.
not
We should
microfilm.
talk.
We should talk, yeah.
Yeah, ours are full-length feature
You've seen
films.
her work, haven't you?
I have not.
Oh my
Oh,
God. You
I've
don't
been
know,
hearing about
you
it.
don't know who's here.
Gary has told me some things, yeah.
Wow,
Extraordinary.
but
Enough that
Pachamama,
I wanted to make sure that I get.
that's a seed of my soul, just hearing that.
Mm,
That's the Unkamaka, the ancient ancestor. That's the
mm.
divine feminine. She is an ancestor. I love that you even said it. Here we go.
We are speaking the same
We are
language. Yes, we
speaking
need
this-
to talk.
We do need to talk.
Actually, we need to do more than just.
That's true. Did you guys hear that?
So Omashar, do me a favor, I have no idea
Where's
what's
Omashar?
going on for our audience. Can you bring yourself on camera with us and let us know what's happening in the chat box?
Oh,
And
yeah, that's it.
because I have no idea. Yeah, there he is.
Shut.
Hey,
Hey, brother.
beautiful. Hey,
We miss
Vinit.
you.
Hey, Vinit. Hey, Piper. The energy is coming through loud and clear. And the chat box is alive with just whatever's being spoken about. Yeah, we want the campfire experience. Yeah, we love Charles Vogl. And Piper, dear sister, you look fantastic. Piper,
Oh, I
Piper,
drove
so-
8 hours for this love over Shard.
and Piper, it's so awesome to see you with your awesome vibes. And I'm thinking of creating every other month dinners with and inviting 5 people each time, which was a comment about Charles Vogl, the last guest that we had on. And there was lots of fire at the beginning with Desiree and JJ about the pyramids and the root name of Egypt. Where did that come from? Being as Egypt, the Arabic language doesn't have a P in it. Anyway, we're just chatting away here, but the vibe coming through is awesome, and the glitching is minimal. So we're good, Scott.
Okay,
And
great.
apart
Thank
from
you.
that,
You know, it's a kind of a different show for me because I'm not on my big computer and I'm not reading the chat box. I'm
I
just,
know you're just.
and we've got the dog, Jasmine Bear. said-
It's wonderful watching you because you just subjected to love, and love, and you cannot
And you're
escape
in this
it.
vortex. The
Right,
art
right.
behind you. It's this powerful vortex. Where are you? Get in your car.
I wish I was. I have other things going down, but it's all good. I'm here with us tonight. And Scott did. He texted me. We usually meet at least 5:30 Pacific. Then it became 5:45. Then 5:55 because he was watching the concert, and he didn't have to. He chose to be with us and bring in some guests. And whilst the brothers Koran and Pato and Antoinette are singing on stage, it's like, dude, how did you do that? And so that is just a testament, and we appreciate it because it's just like an open door, an open sluice gate, the love that's coming to us all. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's so
Thank
sweet.
you. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, in a moment, I'll let them go. Have you do a song,
You're gonna do a song on Mashar, and we're gonna disappear.
I shall do, and Scott's going to get some cough lozenges.
And I'm gonna drink some water. And you guys will find my next guests for me?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Our
Okay,
session.
we love you. We love you.
And when you serve dinner, will you grab a dinner for me?
Sure.
Oh,
thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'll-
I think
you'll
they'll have
like that
plenty.
or something to drink as well?
I've got water right here.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Bye, darling.
They said they'll have plenty.
He
but we'll
needs
make
he
sure.
needs
Okay,
a double
great.
water. Wonderful to see you, Vinny. Wonderful. to see
And
you,
Jack
Piper.
doesn't want to come off my lap. I'll be back, my love. Oh my God.
So, Scott,
Isn't
shall I
she
sing
sweet?
now?
Oh, she's a
or-
love.
yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, it is quite the love fest. And I'm gonna turn over to beloved Omashar for our mid-show song.
You can do the dance thing, Scott. All right. It's in wow, can we hear me? It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. Yes. Can someone else? Is good. Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's in every one of us. I've just remembered. It's like I've been sleeping for years. I'm not awake as I can be, but my seeing is better. I can see through the tears. I've been realizing that I bought this ticket and I'm watching only half of the show. There is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who will know what I know, and it's good that it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us. We've just remembered. It's like we've been sleeping for years. We're not awake as we could be, but our seeing is better. We can see through our tears. We've been realizing that we bought this ticket and we're watching only half of the show. There is scenery and lights and a cast of thousands who will know what I know, and it's good and it's so. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by and by and by.
Let's go to gallery view and Twinkle.
Thank you so much. The internet overall
My
is
computer is really struggling to keep up with.
yes, it is. You have everything shut off, right? If you don't force quit and seen what's anything, if anything else is running.
I did that before the show started. Remember when
Yeah. Well, good. However, overall, it's great. There's only a few little stretchy words and Scott with a funny look on his face. Apart from that, all is good. See you in a bit.
All right, thank you so much. Here, we'll close that. There we go. All right, we closed a couple more things. And I've got two extraordinary souls next to me. These are both evolutionary leaders. Now, The tragedy is you can't see her hair properly. No, she's got the coolest hair ever. And I've got cool hair, but you've got the coolest hair ever. She also, underneath that hair, is a brilliant woman. She has come into the Evolutionary Leaders, and she's kind of quiet. She'll be at a meeting and we'll be struggling with something. And she'll say, well, I happen to know. And then she'll like give us this extraordinary wealth of technical knowledge, information, wisdom about almost everything. It's amazing. And so we all fell in love with this wonderful woman. And then she brought in her partner, Amy. So welcome to the Awakening World. Ladies, please tell our audience a little bit about yourselves and what you do in the world.
Go ahead, Miss Mia. I'll let you go.
Well, it's great to be here, Scott. Thank you for having us. I'm Amanda Sanders,
Oh, I forgot to
and
give her name, sorry. I got so lost in the hair.
I'm the one with the hair.
Blue
Um,
purple, you should see it in sunlight.
I'm the one that loves the dogs, so I'm just happy to be over here. Petting dogs is all I need in this world. But Amy and I have spent the last few years working with companies and startup founders on understanding consciousness, both as leaders, as humans, but also as a way of doing business. And the way that we've done that is through the lens of quantum physics and neuroscience. So we found that we can crack open that door a little bit easier if we approach it in the sort of sciencey, physicsy way, because then that thinking part of their corporate businessy mind gets really busy with all the facts and figures and formulas and everything that we feed them. So it gets so busy that we keep it preoccupied over there while then some of the real work happens of understanding. But ultimately, it's about how to do everything in business, from reading emails to having board meetings to hiring employees in a conscious way. So it's not just about building conscious products, it's about the actual doing of business in a conscious way, even if you're just manufacturing a car or making playing cards or anything as your business. So,
And how are you describe doing it in a conscious way? What does that actually look like?
well, so for us, our definition of consciousness has been really more that true textbook definition. So if you actually go Google, what is consciousness, you'll find several definitions. One of them is sort of that medical definition. Are you conked out, or are you like awake? But if you go down another definition, you'll find that consciousness is to be aware. So actual awareness of all that is going on. And usually one definition is external to you, and then another definition is and internal to you. We take both of those definitions. So much of what you know about how to do business or even how to do life, because there's really not that much different, is based on the rules of classical physics, if we're just going to use physics terms, just because that's one of the lenses we use. And that's force, right? I need to effort this, right? I need to work for money.
I need to make it happen.
Yep. I gotta do it. I gotta, we have to doing, right? What am I going to do to make this happen? It's the doingness, right? I got to work hard at this. But quantum physics is a different set of principles. It's the principles of resonance. So that's more about how to be, what frequency to be at. So you wouldn't do it harder or do it more in the principles of quantum physics. You would just say, what do I need to resonate at for this to happen? Which is also, it's a state of being rather than a to-doing. It's still something that needs to change state, right? It has to be accomplished, but it's a very different perspective. So if you have only looked at this world through the eyes of classical physics, which is how a lot of us have been brought up, you have to do all this, everything's time-based, you exchange time for money, you work hard, cause and effect, you believe is very linear, all those things, then you think those are the only rules. You're only aware of half. We make you aware of the other half, and now you have a choice.
Now, Amy, the question I'm going to ask you,
Okay.
it's always
See if I
fun to
can
hear a success story. What's an
Yeah.
example you could share of a company or someone you worked with where they started and then through your support where they got to, or a breakthrough they might have had?
You know, this, as Amanda said, we do work with people about business, but often they come to us with parenting issues then, even though we are not a parenting class, relationship. And I can give you I'll give you two quick examples. One was a CEO of a public company, and he was stressed out and very frustrated. And so he was telling, he was doing a lot of force. Got to get it done. I got to get it done, and stressed out, which I think many of us have felt stress. And often when we feel stress, we push even harder.
Mm.
And we said, what's your favorite thing to do? He said, I love surfing. We said, in the middle of the day, why don't you go surfing? He's going, wait, what? Why don't you go surfing? And even though it didn't feel natural because we have been so conditioned to do
9 to
figure
5, 9 to 6.
that we have to be the ones to figure it out. But sometimes stepping away gets us out of our own way. And he learned by doing that in the middle of the day that when he came back, either there was a solution, the problem no longer existed.
Wow.
The person that was an issue, however it might be, had just called and said, oh, I don't need, like they effortlessly left. And he found by doing what was happening when he goes surfing, he's changing his state. His whole resonance is changing. So everything that starts to come back to be reflected to him completely changes.
I mean, that's an incredible story.
Oh,
I love that story.
Go surfing. He's like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Go surfing.
No, but it makes so much sense. And what I love about it is that it reminds us that the outer world is such a reflection of our inner world.
Yes.
Right? So by calming and going into that resonance of peace and connection, magical things happen without him having to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And often we need the experience to show us. I can tell people all day long and they might go, well, that sounds nice. But, but once you have the experience, you can't deny it. And I think just especially in this particular world, another one, which is one of my favorite, not this past election, but the election prior. One of my favorite people in the entire world, who happens to be a partner of ours in a venture, was having a hard time with her dad because he was going to vote Republican and she was Democrat.
None of you have ever had that problem.
No. And he was in his 80s, and she called because he couldn't use technology very well. She bought him the books through Amazon. And when she found out he was going to vote Republican, she said, no more books for you.
I'm taking away your candy.
I'm taking away your candy. And we laughed so hard. And so even though this wasn't about businesses are still about relationships and teams.
Yeah.
And we all have a superpower within ourselves. And especially families. We have to learn, if you can get along with family, you can, help that ripple out usually into the world. And we brought her through a lot of exercises that allowed her to see that even though she could still vote Democrat, there was nothing wrong with that there were other side of the fence that had value, that were reflections of her.
Yeah.
And I tell you that story because what was beautiful about it was like she went down on not this one, but the past election, like emotionally, physically, everything was about it. And this past election, she said, I'm okay. No matter,
especially given the result too.
Especially given the result. Her emotional state was no longer swept away by the tide of the world. She has become the lighthouse. And when I see those and so now she's a lighthouse in business. She's a lighthouse at home. Her father has transitioned. She had a beautiful, she bought him books.
He got his books back.
So even though that's not directly tied to business, how it rippled
Yeah.
out into business and her world is beautiful. And so we really strive for people to see, can you love the unlovable, which is usually within you.
Oh, remember
somewhere.
what I said today at the thing?
Mm.
The highest, do it all with love.
Yeah.
The highest form of love is compassion, and the highest form of compassion is radical acceptance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was so beautiful.
it was.
You can
Good
take
job,
it, you
Scott.
can take it and run with it.
Good job. Good job.
We're quoting you on that.
Those are two examples. I mean, we have a lot of them, but those are some.
I love
favorite.
both those examples are
Yeah.
really beautiful.
Yes.
Now, can people out there hire you? Is there a place to go where they can, how do they find
Absolutely.
you?
The easiest way is just email us. You can reach both of us at authentic@authentic.ceo. If you just want to come to our website and browse around, that is authentic.ceo.
Okay, so say it one more time for all of our friends watching on Facebook and YouTube, authentic@authentic.ceo. And that's where you can find Amy and Amanda and learn more about the amazing things they're doing in the world.
And
Yeah.
Scott, we didn't get Amy's your surname, sweetheart.
Oh, it's Levin.
Levin. Is
Oh, yeah,
that
you can say it.
Levin?
Yeah, Levin. Yeah.
And Amanda Sanders.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have on my super cape, and since you said everything is in all of us, we are all superheroes within us.
That's right, you do. You have your blue cape on.
I have my
Da-da-da.
Delta. But we all have superhero inside of us somewhere.
We do.
So
We do.
let it
Is that one of
shine.
the things you do where you work with people on what's your superpower?
We
Yes.
actually do.
Yeah. So what's your superpower?
My superpower is humor.
Oh, good. I love that. What's your superpower?
Well, my superpower is being able to see across time.
Whoa.
I know it's a little weird. I don't often admit it in a public setting, but
Well,
here
this
you
is the
go.
crowd. This is the
Here's the
crowd.
reveal. So
You see across time. So what's that? Can you give an example of that?
Since we primarily work with business people, it usually use it in a setting where, let's say you are thinking about partnering with this company, right? It's a very important partnership, but you're not sure how this is going to turn out, right? You're in contract negotiations, they're changing terms. Terms always change in contract negotiations, but are they trying to screw you, or is this just normal? The lawyers are changing terms during contract negotiations, right? How does this turn out? Should I agree to some of these to make the partnership happen because ultimately it's good in the end, and this is just lawyers doing lawyer things? Or is this the sign that this is not a good
Not what you think it
relationship,
is,
right? So that's just one example now we live in a probabilistic universe, right? I got to bring in a little bit of science there. It's not deterministic, meaning there's not just one outcome. It's probabilistic, meaning there's a 2%
Probable
chance of
futures,
this, there's
right.
an 80% chance of this, there's a 5% chance of this, so and so and so. So what I see as the outcome is the dominant probability. It is not a guarantee, it's the dominant probability. But as probabilities go, it's nice to know what the dominant probability
And are
is.
you able to get like percentages? Like a 51% dominant is different than a 95% dominant.
Exactly. Yes, I can get the percentages.
Wow. What a cool person to know.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Some of these great gifts. Okay.
Yeah, there's something she's working with that she could use your help.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes, some of these great, out of trauma comes great gifts. So I'm very blessed to have some infant trauma that blessed me with some great gifts. So
Well, there's a woman named Margaret Chandley who did a doctoral thesis on psychics. And she interviewed 12 of the best psychics and channels. 9 of them were abused or molested as children.
Yeah.
Because when a child has no power, the only thing you do is leave their body. So it opens up that channel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is it, that until I figured that out, a lot of it didn't make sense as to like, why would I have? Now, I think all of us have these abilities. We just haven't developed them because we currently live in a society that doesn't tell us that we have them,
Mhm.
right? And so if we don't tell each other that we have capabilities, then we don't use them. And we've got
And some of
things
us
in
didn't
place.
have the need to leave the body because it was safe to be in the body.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I never understood why, without developing it, did I have these capabilities to, I'm an empath, so I, can feel your feelings, but that's not so odd. But I can also hear your thoughts, and then I can, which is a little more odd, not many people hear each other's thoughts. And then I was in my late
I gotta really be
30s.
careful what I think when I'm.
Nah. I know what you're thinking. No, I can choose to tune it out. But I was in my late 30s before I realized that other people don't.
Do that.
Because here's the thing, and this may sound stupid, I realize in retrospect, but if you ever make a pot of tea or a pot of coffee, right? Like, especially with the old school coffee maker, you put the cone filter in, you pour the water in the back, you put the grounds in, you press the button, and you walk away. You're not shocked 5 minutes later when you come back and there's a pot of coffee, right? In your mind, you can see there's a pot of coffee being made. You can see into the future. 5 minutes, right? You can visualize it. Now, are you guaranteed it's going to be made? No. Have you ever had those grounds somehow clog up and it overflows, or the wiring frits out and the thing blows? Yes, there's like a 1% chance something else would happen, but in your mind, you know the dominant probability. So because you could do that, and so can everyone else, I can just do that more and longer and for things you've never experienced and across years. And I didn't know that it stopped for everyone else because we don't talk about those things, right? We don't say those things out loud. Like, oh, were you surprised that that coffee maker made coffee? Were you shocked when you turned around? Were you like, oh, dude, no, right? We don't talk about those things. We aren't surprised that the lasagna is made after an hour when we come back. And so I didn't know there was a limit to that. So yeah, I was late figuring out some of
That's
this stuff.
amazing. Do you find yourself, and last question,
Uh-huh.
do you find yourself inspired to find children and help them have those conversations and cultivate? Since you didn't have mentorship and support, you're laughing, what?
I'll let her answer. No,
She
it's a great question. I just know her answer.
She knows my answer. I don't like children.
No.
I will always be honest with you. If you
Yeah.
ask me a question, you can tell we did not
But
prepare
you
these
love
questions.
dogs, you're good.
Oh, I
dogs.
love dogs
She
because
loves
dogs are the best
She
thing
held
on.
Jasmine Bear. Oh, perfect timing. Come on in. She held Jasmine Bear for the whole fireside ceremony. Antoinette is in the house, ladies.
We will go.
I have
Thank
3
you
kids
so
and I like my
much.
kids, just not other kids. I have to put that in there.
I love you guys.
I love you. You're so awesome.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
All right, thank you so much. Antoinette, come on in.
They come and run and say,
Oh my God, look who's here.
watching the Jazzy Bear, look.
Yeah, that's true. You guys are gonna just kind of merge and become one thing.
Aw.
Uh,
How you doing?
oh, I'm good. So good to
Yeah.
have you here.
I had to come and say hello,
Yeah.
since
Now,
you're doing
our
good.
audience loves you. You're always doing amazing things. What's happening with the Spirit of Ubuntu film?
All right, so as you know, we went last year, we did 4 continents and 21 countries. I mean, we was ripping and running all across the planet.
Think about that. They went to 4 continents, 21 countries, all filming for the Spirit of Ubuntu film. which
Screening the
was-
film. Screening the
Screening- oh,
film. Remember,
screening.
because we already shot the documentary.
Oh, so that was
Right,
screening.
screening, yeah, because we won 25 international awards. So the name of the film is called The Spirit of Ubuntu. You can check it out online at because I created this YouTube channel called Ubuntu International, so it's free for anybody who wants to watch the film. And I'll just jump back in there and just drop the link for you guys. But it's such a great documentary, and then also. From that film, we were supporting 10 projects, but now we have 16 current projects in Africa going on right now.
16.
16. And then ever since
And some of the projects are huge. You've built schools.
yes,
built water.
hospitals. Yeah,
Right.
well, oh my gosh. If you check on the YouTube channel, you'll see like some of this stuff, but I literally have like
thousands of pictures and videos, and I mean like terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of material that I just haven't, it's just me and Pato. It's like, seriously, to find the time to try to upload, edit, and put all the things. So just look out on the YouTube channel. You're going to sit there and find story after story after story. It's so compelling. Our latest video that we're working on now is with Akon.
Oh,
Because,
nice.
since we came back.
Did you see today in Facebook Messenger, he sent us a message.
Yes. So Akon lives in a refugee camp in Uganda. So we're going back again. We were just there like maybe February, like maybe before or after the Conscious Life Expo. So we went back to Uganda and we met with 3 other organizations that were within the refugee camp, the largest. Well, there's several of them in Uganda. And so we got a chance to go and meet them. We brought over, they're doing music, doing art. We helped build a school over there. And now we're like bringing the 3 of them together in this Ubuntu project. And if you guys are aware, with the current things going on politically, there's a lot happening in Africa right now. So they cut off all the aid. They cut off all the aid to Africa. Everybody else is freaking out, like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And it's like, well, we're going to have to do the spirit of Ubuntu. We're going to have to like work together and see what we can do and come up together. That means our permaculture projects. That means our sustainable projects, all the different things that we started working on, and coming together so that way these people don't starve, and they can continue to uplift themselves. And then check this out. This is crazy. All around the world have been protests in Burkina Faso, London, France, Italy, New York, DC, Los Angeles for the African liberation, because this is crazy. The one guy who's the president over there in Burkina Faso has, he gave all the people in the country free education. There's no such thing as free education in Africa. Everybody has school fees, so if you understand, like when people are always saying these Africans are always like, they need help because they need food, they need money for school fees, they need money for all these things. So he's made education free. He's made healthcare free. He's like, he kicked out the French. He's like, they paid off their trillions of dollars of debt. And they're like, no more illegal mining anymore. We're going to take our resources back. And this has kind of inspired some of the other countries right around.
And he's from Rwanda?
No, this is in Burkina Faso.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you're going to just look it up. Look up Burkina Faso and Google it. And then you'll sit there and see these other countries too. Like Chad and Namibia, like the first female president. She's like, I like this idea. Senegal, they're like, we need to give free education for the people. We have got to stop importing food into Africa. We have to stop asking for the aid. And it's like so crazy. It's like, wait a second, I just got so much education recently. And like everybody in Africa, it's like African liberation all over. People are supporting, they're like, this is what true sustainability looks like. It's like, we can grow our own food. We can pave our roads, because all this time, if you've been to Africa, and, if you're watching the documentary, it's like, this is me and Pato, like this, because there's no paved roads, there's no infrastructure, there's no.
That's them bouncing in the cars.
That's what it's like, but also in the documentary where you see that one hospital being built, the guy Dale, he's so fantastic. He was like, the first time this hospital can have an autopsy. Never in the whole history of the country were they able ever to do an autopsy. And then, so all the people who want like the bougie hospital services, he put it in the furthest place from the capital. He told the president, if you want to come here for your high medical care and everything else, you're going to have to build a road. And that's the reason why Pato and I, when they literally built a road from the capital way out there into the village, where these people where this nice hospital that was dedicated to the women, and it was all because it was all dedicated to women's health. That's a huge thing, because the women literally built the roads, themselves, paved the roads, they built the buildings, they made the stones and the bricks themselves. They had nothing, and these were people that were from both sides of the genocide war at each other's throats. They literally were killing each other, and they built a community together. That's why I know it's
So
like,
beautiful.
that's what I'm saying.
So
So
powerful.
all this drama that's going on, it's like you guys don't understand until you see what peace looks like. If these people can kill each other one day and then turn around and build something together, it's like, and that was the whole thing. He said nobody could ever take it away from them. The government can't take it away from them. The president can't take it away from them. The army can't take it away from them, because the people are like, holding their hands together and standing up for each other. I've never seen anything so beautiful in my life when I see like, people coming together and being positive. It's like they can face any kinds of adversity. It's like, what kind of adversity are we facing?
First world problems.
First world problems, exactly. We got, Akon and those kids are eating beans, one thing of beans a day, but they make the most beautiful art and they sing the most beautiful music and they find the greatest joy even after seeing, family members murdered or whatever because of all the things that we need to have and stuff. So if they can do that, why can't we? So I think that's my greatest joy, and what's kept me alive was watching the joy from these children, watching the joy from these people. Anybody looks at any African videos, you're always seeing them, they're always like happy and dancing. It's like they got what? But they're moving on. They're not depressed. They're like, we're gonna find a way. There's hope, there's dreams, there's aspirations. They got something to live for, so we need to find that same joy within ourselves. Find, something to live for. If you can't find something to live for, then help them find something to live for.
Well, you're embodying it. Many of our Global Peace Tribers know that you've been dealing with your own health challenges, and you absolutely look fantastic.
Thank you.
And you're obviously doing a lot.
Yeah.
Is that the connection, would you say? Because you're so in your dharma, you're so in your purpose, that's helping you with your own healing journey?
It is. And me and Gary was just talking about that, because I said, Gary, you're going to help me, because I was like, because
Gary Malkin.
Yes, he's got connections. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I heard Greg Braden was there.
We were with Greg today.
Times I've been trying to get in touch with that dude. I'm like, listen, dude, you you got knowledge that you said you got from the indigenous, but you know something? Give it to us too. Share that, because they gave it to you freely. So share that information.
Shared it with us today. It was amazing.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't there.
Well, we did record.
Yeah, all right, good. So that's good. But we have to be there for each other, and that's why I'm going to be at Conscious Life next year.
Great.
I'm getting a booth.
Are you coming to the New Living Expo next weekend?
What?
In San Rafael?
Oh, I will be in Brazil.
You'll be in Brazil.
We'll be in Brazil. We have some concerts coming up. We have some shows coming up. I went down to the Yucatan and presented my Ubuntu. I'm solidifying, the Kone de Poa connection from the 8th fire, because once we was in that 8th fire, things started to spiral. It was like the Afro-Mexican connection is going on. You got a lot of comments going on.
Well, and you talk about the 8th fire. I use this as my backdrop all the time. And that is the 8th fire, which you were at with Keith Thill. And I always love that image because I see the phoenix rising from the flames. And so that's the incredible 8th fire that you were at when that was lit.
We was in that fire for 5 freaking hours. We heard every single voice. Every voice was heard. I mean, the energy was so powerful of what was going on in there. The frustrations, the love, and everything else. But by the end, we came out. It was just so much love and unity, and through that, I was able to make these beautiful alliances, with the people inside of Mexico. And that's why we're leaving Friday actually to go back to Hidalgo where the 8th fire started. I'm like, wait a minute, this is divine. This is this is divine manifestation to go back into Hidalgo. And now we're going to do another event in Hidalgo at the end of May with Kono de Poa, with the diversity, the unity, the tree planting, because I realized this is what we're doing. It's sustainability. We got a lot going on. Oh, and Charlotte, we're coming back up to Canada as well, right before we go back to Hidalgo again in May. So all you Canadians, we're going to be up there in Vancouver doing our Ubuntu. We're going to be in Cleveland doing a reggae festival. We're going to be in Reno You know, we'll be,
And I'm gonna go see them in Reno.
yeah, we're gonna be at the Reggae on the River. We're also going to be at, yeah, we've got a lot going on. Back at Golden Gate. Oh, yeah, so I secured that, so.
Where's Golden Gate?
November 9th.
I'll be there,
Yeah.
November 9th.
Oh, yes. This time we're promoting it ahead of time because I only had like a week last time. So everybody knows ahead of time to be down at Golden Gate, November 9th.
And we have a lot of Bay Area people. You know, I went to see them, my good friend Emily and I went to see them when they were at Golden Gate Park. When was that, 3 months ago, 6 months?
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
in
that's
November.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fabulous.
Mhm.
Absolutely fabulous.
Yes, San Francisco.
So,
In the
all right,
house.
now how can people best support you?
Okay, so.
And if, as she says this, because I can't do it like I normally do,
Mhm.
if either Diara or, what's the name of my house musical artist?
Omashar.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If Diara or Omashar could put it into the chat box
Mhm.
and pull that up actually, so that all of our friends on Facebook and YouTube can see where to go to support you.
Thank you so much. So, and you know, it was, remember how you used to put up the GoFundMe for my health,
Right.
right? So I was just telling Deborah, it's like, we're gonna be comparing notes and everything. I'm letting her know what I've been doing. You know, so you remember, when we started that, I was just turning my home and wherever I did into like my biohacking wellness. For those of you guys who don't know, right before I shot this documentary, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I didn't choose any surgery or chemo or radiation. I've been on this journey just like following the mother spirit and just, you know, following her intuition and understanding and learning about my body and learning how to, you know, like seriously, the mother spirit is like, that's the spirit of intuition. It's like what works, what doesn't work, what to try. I mean, I experimented everything on myself. I became the living experiment of different things. So if you know that if I can do it, I've met other people who can do it. It's like your health is you can do anything. And you should have the freedom and the power to be able to choose how you want to heal. I would never tell anybody that they should do this or do that or anything else. I'm just saying what works for me personally. And I just didn't like, you know, the way that they were censoring and not letting us talk about, you know, all the things that was healing. And it's like, those things are important, you know. It's like I've lost too many friends, you know, and too many family members, you know, to things that didn't have to be, you know, and it all comes from a lot of different things. And I learned a lot from Conscious Life. That's why I said I'm going back, because I met a lot of good people there. I just came from, that's the reason why we're up here in this area, because I left Simi Valley where the blood scientist guy is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, remember when we were going to,
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
I was waiting for Shaman Durek. I was like, I just want to see Shaman Durek. I don't want to see nobody else. Remember I dragged you in the room?
Yeah.
But Stan blood analysis was right next to Shaman Durek. And while I was waiting for Shaman Durek all this time, I was like, well, I might as well, you know, get my blood scan and see what's happened. This guy still has like 200 people waiting to see him since the expo.
Wow.
I mean, I took Pots over there. It's like they do analysis of what your cells look like and when they're working and when they're not working, when it's all
I
bubbled
need
up.
to do that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Sure.
because it's not one thing when you're just kind of guessing or whatever, but like the science, they like follow the science. So we follow the science and the science doesn't lie. When you sit there and see your cells working or not working or whatever, it's like, all right, I know that I'm on the right path. and I'll
Okay,
stay
so
working.
how do people support you? Where do they go?
All right, they can go to standupforjustice.us or Ubuntu, spiritofubuntu.us. Those are our two websites.
Spiritofubuntu.us,
Mhm.
standupforjustice.us.
Yes, I have to revamp the website. It's so old, but it's coming with all the things that we've been doing and everything. So you guys check it out. You know, I'm going to be revamping the website. I got my refugees helping me.
And you're going to be here for the next few days, though,
No. We're flying out to Mexico.
on Friday.
Yeah, and then to Brazil. So Omashar, while you're popping that up, so I got my little donate button because that's my legal 501c3. So Omashar, remember that song I told you we was gonna work on called I Know the Universe is Working for Me. All I had to do was believe. So I'm going down there. I'm gonna work out that song with those Brazilian women samba. So you need to write your verse now because when I
Okay.
come back,
I
song.
got it.
All right.
Thank
remember
you.
the chords, it starts in F.
I actually have it recorded from that moment we had in California last year. So
Yes, yes. So
I'm
so Omashar, you need to like write your verse. I'm giving you 8 bars in the song. When I come back, we're gonna have this Brazilian samba version of the song.
wow, that's fantastic.
Antoinette, I
Yeah,
love you
I
so
love you
much.
too. I love you.
And Antoinette and Pato, I speak for all of us. We are so proud of you. We are so, so proud of you. The work that you have done and are doing in the world is just sending ripples around the earth of that which is possible. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love you.
I
All
love
right,
you.
let Gary
Bye.
come in.
Well, from one powerful soul to another powerful souls. And Claire, come on in if you want to
He's
also.
quite the singer too, you know. Besides a musician,
Oh,
he's got a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For a second,
Hey, everybody.
hey, brother. Hey, Gary Malkin. Well, Gary, let me first start by just asking you, what's this week been like for you? Because I know it's been powerful.
Yeah, it has been. Being with people who are committed to raising the frequency of the planet, which I have been for a long time, but being with a group of people that I had never been with, most of them in 3D. And so the space held for anything that wanted to emerge and wanted to come out and wanted to be healed. For me, having gone through a very intense period of having my website attacked and destroyed in the last 3 weeks, has given me this place of just looking at, like, since everything happens for me, not to me. So there I was sitting with Claire, Claire and I have known each other for a long time, for 25 years, since after Graceful came out. And she had an enormous capacity. She's an intuitive, right? And let's just say that she saw something that I didn't see, that created the conditions through which I just had a huge, huge release. Right? And we are all beings that carry trauma from the womb, from multi-generational places. And when we get to be graced with the opportunity to find something that I could have gone to my grave with, not knowing, and suddenly I felt, now I created the conditions in which I could actually, if I could see it and feel it and know it, then it was on its way out. That's what it was. So it's helped me make sense. And the nourishment of being in the context, one of the most powerful nights for me was the first night when Teresa and Julie kind of laid down. So one of the things that the work that Julie Krull and Teresa are doing on the connection field has a lot to do with getting deeper than the addiction our culture requires us to be in our heads, right? And so the idea of being in the not knowing and allowing our presence to come from our hearts, not our minds, right? So we had this beautiful night where I had the opportunity to play live with Julie and Teresa in the underscore to the spoken word, I love.
And of course, Julie Kroll and Teresa Collins,
Right.
who was talking about, they've been on the show many times.
Yeah, and I've done many, many things online with them.
Yeah, you have.
But the
7 days of rest.
That's right, which was mind blowing for me, actually, when I realized that when we listened together online, that it was a form of collective prayer as to unify with the field, right? So I had a whole shift with them about that. But to actually be in the room and create the underscore for them to just transmit that first night, let's just say it really, really cracked my heart open, the whole thing. So this has been a great experience. And I'm a relative new, 3 years, I think, is when I've been a member of the ELs, but this is the first time that I've been in this experience. And so that's my
Beautiful
story. Yeah.
And Claire, who was just on the show recently, but Claire, I know it's been a powerful week for you. What would you like to share?
I think I would like to share that when we let go of thinking that we know who and what we are, it's beyond having an open mind. It's beyond having an open heart. It's radical humility in the face of our beingness, that when we open more consciously to the light that lives us, then there is a there's just a radical transformation that becomes possible. It's along the lines of simply letting what's in the way fall away.
Mhm.
Like not like divesting our attention from, that doesn't serve us, or that we've been identified with, or that is purely limiting. I was remembering Bashar saying that humans are masters of limitation. And it really spoke to me when he said that. And it's just like, yeah, really, all we need to do is get out of our own way, because the river of our souls is longing to carry us home. The river of our immensity is longing for us to know that we are immense. And so it's just been this, it's been like being in a really lovely big bath with a lot of great people hanging out, soaking, and being permeated by, and what's the right word? Marinated in a level of consciousness that makes that possibility of our own light being the thing that can activate what's dormant in us,
That's
can
right.
show us to ourselves. Like that's just felt so much more real, not conceptual, like actually real. Like when the music of Gary and the music of you and the music of me gets together, and we can be humble to what is moving through us, and we can move into our hearts, and we can allow our heart fields to intensify, then the more that we are can come in and show us to ourselves.
And when we can create room for the new to come in.
Yeah.
Right? When we unburden, one of the things for those of you who are listening, it is
Hopefully you're all
so
listening.
it's so easy to get lost in the chaos and the noise of what's happening right now. But one of the things that's gotten clearer for me about being in this group is, especially after losing so much in the last weeks, is that we just have to stay focused on what we want to create and who we want to be and how we want to show up, because that joy, gratitude, fulfillment of being fully ourselves, continuing to unleash the things that no longer serve us, is what we're here to do right now.
Right on.
And logging onto the light, which is what I was talking about last time I was on with you.
That's right. That's right.
What are you going to focus on, the fractures or the light?
Right, exactly.
And
So-
and people were saying to me, yeah, but you gotta, you can't just focus on the light. And I'm like, well, I can.
Oh yeah, thank you.
I can
Yes,
actually just choose where to put my attention, because I need to put my attention to whatever strengthens me. I need to put my attention towards whatever actually brings me into my center, so that I can be the most useful that I can possibly be. Does it help me to put my mind towards the fractures that I can do nothing about? No. Is it helping me to get my head stuck into media, which is just lying to me and manipulating me? No. Does it help me to be around people who are consciously fostering a heart field that is transformational just to be in it? Yes.
Yes.
Is that what I want to do with myself? Do I want to log on, like lasso myself into the vortexes of positivity in this world that reflect back to us who we're becoming? Yes. Like, where are the fields of coherence? My body will steer me if I can actually be in it enough to be able to feel. Follow the patterns of coherence.
There we
Follow the rivers of love. And it's not a trite thing to say. It's not trite. Following the rivers of love. Follow where your heart tells you you are going to come into your strength, and you're going to come into your coherence. And then we can look at the world from that place, like get strong and then take action.
And all I want to do is follow you.
You have a special event coming up. Thank you, Christy Michaels, for texting me the reminder about Soul Fire. So, Gary, tell us about Soul Fire.
Yeah, I came up with this term, Soul Fire, and I'm doing a concert after being gone from Marin since I left. I had a big going away party on 9 months ago, September. So on May 9th at the Unity Church in Novato, I'm going to be giving a night of sacred devotion and connection, and Miranda McPherson is going to be my special guest. We're going to do some kirtan and sacred devotional nights, and it's going to be a beautiful event, and it's going to be streamed. So Unity Church will actually stream it for whoever can't come. So it's anywhere in the world. And it's May 9th, 7:30 at Unity Church. And it'll be a homecoming for me because this has been quite.
And what's the date again?
May 9th, Friday night. May
Oh,
9th.
oh, wow, that's coming right up, a week
Yeah,
from Friday.
yeah, a week from
Okay,
Friday.
all right.
So please, if you can't come in person, just go to Unity Church in Novato, find out what their website is, and I'm sure that they're gonna share the stream.
Maybe you
So,
can put that into the chat box,
Yeah.
if you find it. And let's not let her out, but I think there's somebody else ready to come in.
Thank you for having me.
Gary, I love you so much. I'll see you outside. All right,
Thank you.
Claire,
Vinny.
thank you so much. My friend, my neighbor, we're neighbors now.
Food.
And we're gonna wrap up with the man who's hosting this beautiful event today. We're about to meet Adam Hall, and where the retreat was taking place at the El Capitan campground, but we all came here for a special afternoon and evening with this man's gorgeous estate. It is so beautiful. I walked on the bridge. I didn't go into the house up there, but I walked on the bridge, and I've never seen a field or a river of flowers. What are those little thousands of little green, they look like little teacups.
Yes, yes, those are nasturtiums, and we pick those and eat those.
Do you really?
Those are very delicious, and those of you that know it, it's a little bit of spice and a little bit
Susan
of light.
Blomquist probably knows.
So we
Thousands, you guys, I gotta take a picture, like thousands. You look and it's just like perfect. Like God just put them perfectly to create this field.
Yes, well, it's such a great reminder, and it's great having you here in the garden, Scott, and just having all of the evolutionary leaders community and many others to come and enjoy the abundance that you're speaking of. You know, obviously
The land here feels so abundant. Everywhere I looked, beautiful trees, beautiful, it's just gorgeous. Now you've been here for
14 years now. It's a blessing. I get to wake up and be in gratitude the first thing, you know, before the chaos and the craziness of the days begin. But it's just it's a blessing, and I think this is a great time of celebration as well for us. And we, you know, to remember that even with all the chaos and all this going on, and you know, your deep work and all the work that many of you are doing. And
well, tell our audience a little bit about you, and you've got an amazing history. I've known you for a long time, Adam, and you've done a lot over those years. Share a little bit with our audience about what you've done and what's most alive for you.
Well, thank you, Scott, for
I'll pull
that.
this
And,
up.
you know, I received a note from a dear friend the other day, and also a teacher of mine on the shamanic path, Dr. Alberto Vialdo. And we were reminiscing a little bit about this journey that we've been on. And I met Alberto 21 years ago. And the reason why I share this, and I think it may be relevant in some way for those of us, you know, on the path, so to speak, you know, and just in the quest of this journey to find deeper authenticity, deeper truth, bring more love into the world, you know, and these kind of things. And that journey was really summed up as we've been on this, by Alberto, we've been on this amazing journey and this great adventure, only to arrive back at the same place, but with a new mission. In other words, it's really what's gone on for me over the course of this kind of arc of my own conscious evolution is the shifting of perception in time through, of course, through healing and through finding my way through pain, but celebrating the joy of my 3 daughters and soon to be 8th granddaughter.
Wow, 8 grandchildren.
Yes, and the feminine is teaching me. Can you tell? They've been working on me in a good way. Well, those are my great teachers. But to really kind of sum that up for you is that we, you know, he was sharing and we were reminiscing on how we kind of return sometimes in our own way back to a deeper inner being and a deeper inner truth, where we're always seeking or retreating or doing all the good things we're doing. But this is different this time. I was sharing with him, Scott, that this time it's go time. It's time to embrace our mission and to step into our greater service. We are a community of earth keepers. All of us, we are here in that greater service. So it was a great reminder to embrace that truth, to live it. And to that end, I've continued my writings and my teachings, and
And you have a wonderful book out about being an earth keeper.
I do. That was the first book I did write. It's called Earth Keeper: Undeveloping the Future. Man, how potent that is today. Undeveloping the future.
Undeveloping.
We seem to be doing a lot of that in our own lives, but also in the collective as well. But the journey's really become something about aliveness in every bit of the DNA. And I missed this last part of my journey because before I began on the path 21 years ago, Scott, it was in the field of business and was in real estate and did quite well at it. But it was making me ill. And it was impairing my sense of the journey. And quite frankly, I probably wouldn't have made it if I continued down the same path. The point being, I'm back doing what I love to do, not just the writing and the sharing and the speaking. That's all fine and good, but it's really the passion of spiritual entrepreneurship is very alive. And I believe for all of you that are entrepreneurs, that are really showing up to fully express their gifts, their genius, their creativity, whatever your craft may be, that it's time that we begin this journey where you can monetize these things, where you can share them at scale. So I was blessed to start a new company 2 years ago with a dear friend, Timothy Noah, and it's called Soul Guide. You can check it out, soulguide.ai. It has great momentum, and it's really starting to shine.
Sure, when you talked about
We
that.
started to talk about that.
That's
Was in the
right.
very early days.
Stage, I remember that now.
But I'll give you a summary, and then I'll be quiet here, Scott.
No.
But the summary is real quick. Soul Guide is like a virtual librarian and that curates your content, and it optimizes a call to action in 1 second or less.
That's incredible.
So if you are a creator, you're a content creator, and you want to scale your content, you want to share your content in snippets, content meaning audio, text, or video, we can do that in 1 minute and then a call to action. So we're at the Illuminate Film Festival, and our tool, our Soul Guide Oracle, we call it, the Illuminate Oracle, is performing extremely well. We have 68.2% click rate, for example. So we want to get results with our great work, right? Do a lot of talking, but now we can get results. And Soul Guide's here to help you or any content
We should
creator.
talk about how, we gotta talk. I've got all this content.
We'll explore more, and I welcome that conversation with any of you, because this is the time we do have to go a bit big, and we have to be a bit bold, and our community, our conscious community, really has a seat at this table, and it's time to shine together. But, it's like Thich Nhat Hanh said way back when, 30 years ago or so, the return of the Buddha, the return of the Christ will come not in the individual, but in the collective.
In the Sangha.
And we are the collective, grounded in love, founded in grace, collaborating. So that's what we're up to.
I had forgotten that that's what you were doing, and I definitely want to talk to you about it. Definitely.
Anytime.
I also want to acknowledge that he took us on this wonderful, he has a maze here on his property, but it's not just a maze. He's created a whole trip with props, and it's got a Wizard of Oz theme, and I love how you ended it. The ending was really cool.
Yeah.
So I really applaud your creativity.
Yeah, good to have you in the maze of our life, right?
Yeah.
Boy, are we on a journey. And it's this interesting thing about this maze, Scott, is, maze is a metaphor. We come into the world out of the womb of our connectedness, really the last place we were one with God, so to speak,
That's
one
good point,
with the mother, and you head into this maze of life. But the maze here in the garden at Casa Earthkeeper has mirrors. So there's mirrors all the way along. And of course, we go through the journey of our lives. And we have our mother and our father as a mirror, our wife or a husband or ex or children or work or boss. It's all a mirror. And are we paying attention and learning or growing, or we just have to keep going back and looking at the dang mirror? I know I spent a lot of time in that mirror trying to figure out things and failing and flailing and healing and loving and crying and all of it, and this is what we do. So this is the journey to see the wizard.
Beautiful.
And the wizard in the world, of course, is the illusion that somebody out there is going to do it for us. Somebody will help us find the brain or the consciousness, because it's like the Tin Man. Someone will help us find a heart like the straw man. Someone will give us courage like the lion. And then there's little Dorothy. There's little us that got thrown out of our home with this tornado. Aren't we living in these kind of tornado type of times?
Yeah.
And
here's Toto.
And here's Toto. We've got Toto, muy importante. Pero, and so we take this amazing journey, but the wizard is within us. The wizard is our soul. It's the inner garden of our lives. And this is what this little metaphorical, allegorical journey into the maze
Next time
was
I come,
today.
I'd like to video you taking us on it and then play it for my audience.
Oh, sure.
I'd like to do that.
So Scott, how can we contact you, Adam?
Oh, hi. You can contact me, and please feel free to. I respond to all my emails, and my email is adam@soulguide.ai. adam@soulguide.ai. Please feel free. Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely.
Adam, thank you so much for hosting this event.
Yes.
Thank you for being our concluding presenter. And it all worked out perfect. We had
Did
a
it?
perfect
Did
steady
it?
stream.
Scott said, send them all up.
Well, I was afraid because the concert was still happening. Who wants to leave the concert, right?
Yeah.
But God bless them. It all worked out perfectly.
Yeah, did you have a good
It was
group tonight?
great. Oh yeah, we started with JJ and Desiree.
Yeah.
Then Piper Dellums showed up.
Oh, okay.
I might not be remembering the exact order. Piper showed up.
Charles came in.
Charles came in. Charles Vogl came
Yes,
in.
yeah.
Claire and
Wow.
oh,
lineup.
and Amy and Amanda and Amy came in.
Great.
And who was with me with Piper? Who was with me with Piper, Omashar?
Uh,
Piper was here, and somebody wonderful was here.
Good question.
Mark Dubois.
No, it wasn't Mark.
was that
Didn't make
Piper?
it. Anyway,
Anyway.
it's been a rich evening, and
Wasn't it
we
Vinit?
Vinit.
Yes.
We always start and end our shows with my house musical artist and co-pilot, and the man who makes all things happen, Mr. Omashar.
Excellent.
And we're going to turn it over to Omashar for a closing song. We're going to turn it to Omashar for a closing song.
Contemplating everything I knew. Seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to. Contemplating what is pure and true. Sun and moon and stars and light and earth and water too. We are rising, soaring, flying, living life so free. We are flowing, changing, growing, loving all we see. Glad to know we're coming home again. Open hearts and open minds and open doors and loving friends. Look at the one who's standing by you now. Destiny is in our hands, so leave the density behind. We are rising, soaring, flying, living life so free. We are flowing, changing, growing, loving all we see. Turning to the face of those who need the light of truth to help them turn the other cheek and turn around. We lift each other up into the highest point of view so that together we can move to higher ground. Contemplating everything I knew, seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to. Contemplating what is pure and true. Sun and moon and stars and light and earth and water too. We are rising, soaring, flying, living life so free. We are flowing, changing, growing, loving all we see. Turning to the face of those who need the light of truth to help them turn the other cheek and turn around. Lift each other up into the highest point of view, so get together we can move to higher ground. Contemplating everything I knew, seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to.
Let's give a big twinkle to Omashar. And I want to ask everyone this Friday, go to omashar.bandcamp.com, because this is the Friday that all the money that goes in goes to the artist. And we want to support him. He has an opportunity to go see his mother, who could use some love from her son. And so let's really help raise some money for Omashar to take that trip, go see his mom. And a great way to do it, go to Bandcamp, omashar.bandcamp.com. My internet's funky, so I'm not able to pull it up like I normally do, but you can memorize that, omashar.bandcamp.com. Buy some of his albums, they're fabulous, and that's how we can support him. And every dollar you put in goes to Omashar.
Thank you, Scott. And what an awesome show. Had no idea how it was going to be, but it turned out to be stellar.
Oh, good. It's been kind of, it's a different experience for me when I'm not watching the chat box and, but thank you.
Flowed beautifully, Scott. I think it was absolutely one of the top shows of this week.
Oh, wow. Oh, good. Hopefully it's the best Wednesday night show we did this week. Hey, speaking of shows, don't go away, Omashar, but this Saturday night, look what we got. It is our monthly Soul Search show, and we've got a whole wave of new psychics and healers coming in to do readings for all of you. So definitely make sure you're with us live in the Zoom room on Saturday night to receive psychic readings and healings from all these amazing people. And once again, Fanny and Vigari, we're having them 2 weeks in a row because they're going to be breaking down the studio and not available for a while. So I've got the hiccups. So Fanny and Vigari will be with us. And of course, Omashar will be with us as well. Tangela will be co-hosting with me. And that's going to be this Saturday night. But be in the Zoom room. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook or YouTube, just go to globalpeacetribe.com and join us. Yeah, there it is, right behind him. Global globalpeacetribe.com and click where it says register. You can register and get the Zoom room links for all of our shows. Omashar, thank you for knowing that you're there, handling everything, and three
Dude,
great songs.
it truly was a great show. Could not take my eyes and ears off what was coming through. So thank you.
Thank you. That's great to
I think
know.
we- And
I'll
maybe
go back.
Can we go to gallery? Do we have anyone in the gallery?
Yeah, let's go to gallery view for sure. Let's do that. And I've only got it on the people that have their cameras on. So hello to all of you that are watching that don't have your cameras on.
Yeah, the other 487 don't have.
All them. And hello to all the people watching the recording. A lot of people watch the recordings and oh, you know what? We have one more thing we do need to do. I saw Christy Michaels, and that reminded me that Hallelujah Anasuya had her surgery today. I'm so glad I thought of this. So I want us to take a moment, and we're going to go into sending maximum grace and healing for our beloved Hallelujah Anasuya. Maximum grace. And I'm actually going to ask Diara to unmute and share with us the latest on Sylvia, because she's been tracking that. Diara?
Thank you. Yes, the latest update from a couple days ago is she has her cell phone and her charger, which is a good sign, and that she's still very weak, but is present. And let's send maximum grace to our beloved Sylvia as well. So I've been filling up her chat box and know that she can scroll through and sending all of our love to her.
Maximum grace for Sylvia. Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diara. Thank you, everyone, for being such a beautiful tribe, beautiful global peace tribe. I hope to see all of you on Saturday night and have a wonderful few days. Thank you for being here tonight. And thank you again, Omashar. Good night, everybody.